So welcome everyone. This is Healthy for Life. This is our first monthly presentation, and I am glad that you are all here. We have what I think is a pretty exciting topic today. We're going to talk about energy and what goes into creating energy and having energy. So I'm pretty excited about that topic. I think there's some fun things in here that you might not know or totally know. So I think you're going to learn a lot today, and I am happy that you're here. So I'm sharing a picture there because we took a very nice trip and went to the ocean, and it was very foggy and cloudy at the ocean. But there was this one beautiful day when the sun was shining, and the picture, of course, doesn't do it justice, as pictures usually don't unless you're a professional photographer, but there was a beautiful rainbow. So that is something that I definitely have enjoyed this summer. What about you? Are there things that you're enjoying or anything that you'd like to share about what your journey has been like since we talked? And while you're thinking about that or typing it in, I also wanted to give a shout out to everyone who has returned the weight chart. That's been super helpful. And also, I've had some really beneficial email conversations with several of you who gave me a copy of your food and fitness log. So I was able to take a look through those and hopefully offer some good advice. So if any of you haven't returned your weight chart, please do that. And if you'd like me to take a look at a week of your food and fitness log, I would be happy to do that and provide advice. If you have specific questions, let me know. But otherwise, all right, I don't see any feedback. Y'all are a quiet group today. You're not used to this anymore, are you? So if you think of anything, please, as always, go ahead and put it in the chat box. It adds to it. It's definitely better to do it live with you than as a recording. So I'm happy to be here with you. All right, so first things first, I always like to give you time to do the weight chart. So we're still continuing with that, but since it's been 4 weeks, if it has been 4 weeks, if you've still been doing it yourself, then the last time you did it to this week. But otherwise, if it's been 4 weeks, then draw the line from your 16th week's weight to the 19th, because it's been 14 weeks since it's been 4 weeks since we met together. So take some time to do that. Look and see how things are going. If you have your food and fitness log handy, make sure and take that out, take a look at it, make any notes on there about how you did this month. It says did this week. Obviously, I copy and paste some of these slides and I didn't catch that, but how did you do this month? When I did my food logs, I used my Samsung Health app. Not sure how to get that to you. Oh, so you can sometimes share with people. You can do like take a picture of your screen on your phone and send that. I'm open to other suggestions if other people have ideas. A lot of times it'll have like a download function where you can download it out of the app so that you can use it. So you could email that to me or fax it to me. Or if you wanted to get on like a Teams call or something and then just show me a video of what's there, then we can just do it together that way too. So hopefully that gives you some good ideas there, Dana. Okay, so we have quite a bit to talk about today, and I'm going to try not to rush, but there is quite a bit of information in this presentation. It's quite information dense. So if I'm going too fast, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I will try and really pay attention to that. And let's talk about energy. What is energy? Well, if you were going to ask that question, you looked it up in the dictionary, it would say that energy is the product of food metabolism measured in calories. But no, really, it's how you feel. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about energy, right? We're talking about how you feel. There's several things that we're going to talk about today that contribute to that: vitamins, caffeine, herbs, supplements, and energy stealers and energy sources. There's just a ton of fabulous information out here, and pretty much any one of these things could be an hour-long presentation. So it's going to be really high level unless you ask me for more information. So energy sources, like I just said, food, exercise, restful sleep, and mental energizers. So that last one is the thing that maybe doesn't come to mind right away when you ask, where do you get physical energy from? But I feel like it's one of the biggest places that we can either get it or we can lose it. So some examples of mental energizers are positive thoughts, exercise, spending time outdoors, being exposed to sunlight, being exposed to colors, music, friends, family members, laughter. Make your own list. What is it that energizes you? If you're an introvert, maybe spending time by yourself in your own head in one of these places is best. If you're an extrovert, maybe it's spending time with other people that really gives you that energy. So those are examples of mental energizers. Yeah, walking the dog. Exactly. I love to walk my dog too. It usually is a combination of spending time with an animal that unconditionally loves me no matter what, spending time outside, and getting the fresh air and the sunlight all at the same time. So yeah, I totally agree. Energy vampires. Don't you love that word? Things that suck your energy away. Lack of sleep, negative thoughts, negative people, overeating, high-fat foods, dwelling in the past, carrying a grudge. Make your own list, right? Even just reading the list kind of is like, ooh, singing loudly when no one is around. Yes, sunshine. Singing loudly when no one is around. I really like that because I'm that crazy lady in the car next to you. I mean, when you get to a stoplight, I know it's like not like polite to stare at the people next to you, but they're right next to you. You should really look at the people that are next to you in the car, because sometimes that is very entertaining. It can give you laughter, because I'm that person in the car singing loudly because I feel like no one is around, even though usually I'm driving with other people on the road just in my own car, and they're in their own car. So I'm the one that's singing along to the song as loud as I possibly can. But yeah, in the shower, in your own house, while you're making dinner, singing loudly. Yeah, do it. So vitamins for energy. Vitamins and minerals do not provide energy in and of themselves, but they do help your body do everything that it needs to do to create that energy and to feel good. So we're going to spend some time with vitamins, minerals, and supplements today, because this is something that usually people have a lot of questions about. So vitamins and minerals are found naturally in food and things that we eat. They're organic compounds or molecules needed in minuscule amounts, tiny, tiny little bit. They act as coenzymes and cofactors in a myriad of chemical reactions in the body. And the RDIs, that would be the recommended daily intake, varies with the age and the gender that you are, but are based on the needs of 97 to 98% of individuals. So you'll notice there that the RDIs are based on 97 to 98% of individuals. So sometimes we're the people that are on the outliers of that. So that's something you need to keep in mind when you think about how much you should take in. Okay, so I'm gonna pop quiz for you. If you were to take the SAT test tomorrow, any of those standardized tests, what would you need to take with you? I'll give you a hint. It's in the picture. Your ID. Yeah, your ID. It's in the picture though. And maybe I'm old fashioned in thinking that you need one of these. Maybe people do these on computers now and you don't use one of these. Your pencil in your brain. Absolutely. Yep. A pencil. Yes. A pencil with an eraser for sure. I like that. Yeah. A pencil. So vitamins are like pencils. I'm going to make that comparison for you. You need a certain kind of pencil for different tests. Like some tests you need a number 2 pencil, some tests you need a mechanical pencil, some tests you need like the traditional kind of pencil that you have to sharpen with a pencil sharpener. Other pencils, it won't do. The computer can't read it or whatever. Also, if you have no pencils, you can't take the test, right? You just can't do it. You need a pencil to do it. If your lead runs out or if your pencil is dull, you can't take the test very well. Vitamins are like pencils. If you have 10 times as many pencils, it won't improve your score. Just like 10 times as many vitamins won't make the reaction happen any faster. But if you don't have the vitamins, the reaction won't happen at all. And if you don't have enough vitamins, then the reaction may or may not finish, or it may not be at optimal levels. I'm going to talk about supplements here, but if you remember nothing else, when we talk about vitamins, remember that food is your best medicine. It is your best vitamin. Food is the best medicine. So when we talk about supplements, it's just that, it's a supplement. So who needs supplements? People who are on low calorie diets. How many of you on this call are on a low calorie diet? Just asking the question. Those who do not consume a balanced diet, fast food, vegetarian, no milk, not enough fruits and vegetables, gluten-free, I don't eat any bread or grains, I don't drink milk, I don't have any dairy. Yeah. People who are pregnant, people who smoke, people who use excessive alcohol, those who have malabsorption due to some sort of medical condition, or just some sort of medical condition that causes malabsorption. All of this is examples. Yes, those who have had bariatric surgery absolutely need supplements. Yes. And they are supplements, like I just said. There are many nutritional needs that cannot be addressed by popping a pill. My husband is one of those weird people that doesn't like to take the time to eat during the day. He always has said if he could just take a pill and not worry about eating so he could do all the other stuff that he wants to do, then that would make him very happy. But unfortunately for him, there are many things that you can't get unless you eat food. Food is the best source of nutrients. It is put together in the perfect package. A vitamin is only as good as our current knowledge and our current ability to manufacture. And when you think about how your body absorbs nutrients, it absolutely absorbs nutrients the best if it is getting it from food, because there's all kinds of things in food that we haven't identified yet, and we don't know exactly how it works the way that it works. A great example of that is omega-3 supplements. So pretty much all of the studies that are out there show minimal support for just an omega-3 supplement. The best results in people's health are from having actual fish, actual food that has good source of omega-3. So that's just a great example. There are so many different things. It's obviously not just the omega-3. That's part of it. That's the thing that we've identified, but we haven't identified all those other things that are in there that make it so our body can absorb it and that have that beneficial effect on our health and on our energy. So keep that in mind when you're taking it. They are supplements to a diet. They are not a diet in and of themselves. One I like to call out specifically is vitamin D, because as many of you know, vitamin D is is a nutrient, or it's actually kind of a hormone in our diet, in our body, excuse me, that we don't get enough of. And particularly where we live in Montana, it's the sun during the winter is it actually doesn't get high enough at the sky. It doesn't get to the right angle so that when it shines on your skin, if you're capable of making vitamin D from your skin, the sun is not at the right angle for us to do that in Montana for several months out of the year. So that's something to keep in mind living in Montana. Many people are not getting enough vitamin D from their diet or from sunlight. How many of you use sunscreen or don't go out in the sunshine? That is the body's primary source of vitamin D. Now, there are sources in foods, but just a very few foods. Cod liver oil, fatty fish. I have a picture on the next slide that shows you some examples of dietary sources, but it's difficult to get enough vitamin D from dietary sources. Our body really depends on our skin to do it. Fortified foods such as milk, yogurt, and some cereal, they do add to this every day because vitamin D is getting so much attention. You can get it from your sun if your body can make it. 10 to 15 minutes lit on your legs, arms, or trunk, but availability of sunlight is variable, especially in Montana. And we don't always let our skin hang out, and we are not ourselves out. And some people can't actually make vitamin D in their skin. That's rare, but it is something that can happen. So vitamin D is definitely a nutrient of concern for you to think about. So what does vitamin D do? We've heard, a lot of us have heard that it helps create strong bones because it helps absorb calcium and potassium. Research suggests deficiency is associated with chronic diseases like hypertension, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, metabolic syndrome, cancer, autoimmune diseases. Now, it's a chicken or an egg kind of question. Is it the disease that causes the deficiency, or is it deficiency that causes the disease? But I'm going to float the idea to you that that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you get sufficient vitamin D so that you can prevent, delay, or help manage chronic conditions depending on where you're at. It's also a cofactor in multiple systems in your body, including the systems that your body uses to lose weight, that it uses to create energy for your muscles when you move, among many, many other things. Acts like a hormone in your body. So this picture right here is some food sources of vitamin D. Now in those dairy sources, that's usually supplemented. In the grain sources, it's usually supplemented. So think about if you eat these kinds of foods or if you don't eat these kinds of foods. And if you're out in the sun or if you're not out in the sun. Vitamin D is also, it really acts more like a water-soluble vitamin in your body, even though it's technically a fat-soluble vitamin. It's digested and stored in fat. It's very hard to get too much vitamin D or to overdose on it because it acts more like a water-soluble vitamin in that you use it, you need it every day because it doesn't stay in your body for very long. Oral supplementation, according to the Harvard School of Public Health, for people who are at optimal vitamin D level is 1,000 to 2,000 IUs per day. If you look at the bottom of the slide, the source should be cholecalciferol D3 because that's what your body absorbs the best. There's other sources out there. Most vitamins do just fine with making sure that it's cholecalciferol D3 that they're using in supplementation, but it's definitely worth a look at the label to make sure that that's where it's coming from if you're taking vitamin D. Now, if you're deficient in vitamin D, then you might need much more than 2,000 a day. If you think of it, I describe it as a bucket that's got a hole in it. So if your bucket is totally empty, if you're putting you know, just the bare minimum in there, it's draining out really before your body can even use it. So it takes more than you actually need every day in order to fill the bucket back up to where it should be. So that's really something that you have a blood test that's available to check your status, and should really do that under the guidance of a doctor, because what they'll do is they'll take the blood test, they'll say, yes, you're low in vitamin D. I'm going to increase it to this. You're going to come back and do another blood test. I'll see if it's being effective at increasing you to where you need to get to. So that's kind of where vitamin D is. There are some vitamin D and calcium supplements together. Absolutely, there are. There's usually not. Well, it depends on the supplement if there's 2,000 IUs of vitamin D in there or not. But yeah, calcium. Calcium deficiencies may spur food intake. If your body needs calcium, it may spur your body to eat more food. I saw the comment on there about listening to your body and what your body is craving. Sometimes it's very non-specific. It'll just say you're hungry, right? If you need calcium, it's hard to say unless you're really in tune with your body. I need milk today. That's really what I need. But sometimes some people's bodies will definitely tell you. Sometimes the calcium deficiencies just make you feel hungry. Vitamin B12, all B vitamins are key to the energy cycle, which is making food into units of energy your body can use to power muscles and brain, etc. Where do you get B vitamins? Do you know? Do you know where you get B vitamins? Grains, specifically whole grains, nuts, seeds, all those sorts of things. So a lot of us, when we're on a weight management diet, will really limit how much grains and whole grains that we eat, to the point where we very well might be low on vitamin B, all of your vitamin Bs. There's several of them. So think about that. If you don't eat much bread, if you don't eat much rice, if you don't eat many sunflower seeds or nuts or anything like that, think about that and why that might be important. Iron, super important. You get that primarily from your body best absorbs it from heme sources, which are blood. I mean, heme is blood. So we're talking about red meat. We're talking about venison or natural, you know, hunters go out and have those sorts of things. There is iron present in other like dark green leafy vegetables, and that's called non-heme iron. It's harder for your body to absorb. So if you're going to get your iron from those sources, try and have them with some vitamin C source. So like, for example, if you're going to have spinach, then have some tomatoes with it, because that helps your body to access it. But iron is something that can definitely cause low energy, because it's necessary for building red blood cells, which we cycle through red blood cells, and red blood cells carry the oxygen that everything in your body needs. So you're going to feel really tired. Iron can't upset people's stomachs. So some people take a multivitamin that has iron in it, upsets their stomach. So those are people that really need to focus on either taking that supplement with food, so it's not just sitting in there by itself, or really focusing on those iron-rich foods in their diet and having at least 2 to 3 servings of that a week, because iron really, you can get that from your diet if you're having those. Is white rice an inferior grain compared to brown rice? I would say yes, definitely, because what they do, when we're back to talking about whole grains here. So if in order to make white rice, basically they mill it and they strip off all the good stuff on the outside that has all of those B vitamins and everything in it. Now they'll add it back, but it's essentially just like taking vitamins, because they just added vitamins back to it. They fortified it back with the vitamins that they took away. So I would say that white rice is definitely inferior for vitamins and fiber for sure. let's see, comment here. Pernicious anemia increases with age, lack of B12 due to decrease of absorption in the gut. Yeah, pernicious anemia is not the same as iron anemia. It has a different test that you have to take for that. But yeah, it's a deficiency in B12. And if you're looking at pernicious anemia, then that is something that sometimes you have to get injections instead because your guts can't absorb it the way that they need to. That's a good point. My doctor told me to take vitamin C with iron to make it absorb. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it helps. If you're usually if you're taking iron as part of a multivitamin, there's vitamin C in there as well. The thing you got to watch out for if you're taking an iron supplement, it's good to take it with the vitamin C, but don't take it with calcium because the calcium and the iron use the same carriers to be absorbed. So if you take them together, then they interfere with each other. So I usually will take a calcium supplement at one end of the day, and I'll take a multivitamin supplement at the other end of the day, just so they don't interfere with each other so much. Magnesium, we have talked about magnesium before. And think about any kind of baby seed, right? So if you think about, do you do any kind of sources of nuts, of seeds in your diet, peas, beans, anything that's going to grow a plant? If you put it in the soil, if it's going to grow a plant, it's probably a good source of magnesium and selenium, those kinds of things. So if you don't eat a lot of those things in your diet, then thinking about magnesium as a supplement is a good idea. Plus it can help with sleep, right? We talked about it with the sleep presentation that we did. So vitamin K is also something that many people are low on. Vitamin K supplements, if you take any kind of blood thinners, then talk with your doctor about how to take those supplements or where to get those sources from. But dark green leafy vegetables, you know, multifunctional dark green leafy vegetables are a good way to get that vitamin K. And have you ever heard of carnitine? So carnitine is a super interesting nutrient. And I'm going to see if I can share this with you. Might have to do a new share. Let's see if I can find it. So can you see the handout here? Aunt Kathy's Guide to Nutrition. Is that a yes or a no? Can you hear me? Yes, it's small though. Let me see if I can get it bigger here for you. Is that better? So that's the link that's on the slide. I just clicked on the link. Okay, good. I just clicked on the link that's on the slide. This is a lady named Kathy Breeden writes these, and she's getting a little older, and I don't know if she actively practices anymore. So I went and downloaded some of these handouts that she does, because this information that she gives is just amazing. But here's where she talks about carnitine, and she talks about the role of supplemental carnitine in conditions characterized by excessive obesity, hunger, lethargy, which is feeling really tired, hypotonia, and poor exercise endurance. So this is something where if you struggle with this, this is a presentation, this is a handout you should take some time to read and think about. So carnitine related problems include excessive fat storage, low muscle tone, excessive appetite, poor tolerance of aerobic activity, abnormally high sense of fatigue or excessive sleeping, muscle pain with exertion, cardiomyopathy, low blood sugars, unusual difficulty with blood sugar control. So if these are symptoms, you know, like if you've got like 3 or 4 of these symptoms, then reading this might be a good idea. So she talks, I mean, there's a ton of information in here, as you can see. So there is supplemental carnitine that you can take, but it also is available from foods. So you can see here, beef steak, ground beef, pork, bacon, fish, all of those things are good sources. So as you can imagine, someone who is on a vegetarian diet or a low calorie diet very well might not be getting enough carnitine, because the best is beef steak and ground beef. So if you think carnitine, think carnivore, right? Yeah, it's a meat source. So I wanted to show you that really quick. So we're back to the slides here, and that was just this link here at the bottom that I clicked on. So that's there and available to you. I need to upload this onto the Healthy for Life page so that you can download it, but it will be there. So remember, the best medicine is food. Food is medicine. I tell my kids every day to take their vitamins. Like when I've created some sort of vegetable or something that they don't have a great fondness for at dinner, I tell them they need to take their vitamins, which means they need to take a couple bites of their spinach or whatever it might be, broccoli for my son. Ensure adequacy. Now, this is a direct quote from Kathy Breeden, who wrote that handout, is to assure adequacy, don't assume adequacy. So if you're going to take a multivitamin, take something that's got 100%. You don't want mega doses if you're taking a multivitamin, unless your doctor just advises you otherwise, but 100% of, like the 15 to 19 typical vitamins in a multivitamin from a reputable manufacturer, that's the kind of multivitamin that you want to take. That way you can assure adequacy. Now, that's not like maximum result, like really, the term is eluding me right now, but it's not saying that this is the very best amount for you to have. What it's saying is that this is the very least amount that you should have, so that you have the very minimum to do your regular bodily processes. So quick reference for vitamins, for making sure that your vitamin content and intake is good. Eat a healthy diet, right? A varied diet, try and eat different things. Choose a daily multivitamin. Think about vitamin D, some of those other vitamins that we talked about. Say no to megas. That's like, 1,000% of whatever, and avoid super supplements, which there's a bunch of stuff in there that you don't know what it is and that sort of thing. Again, unless your doctor tells you otherwise. The question, the USP certification on the label. The USP certification just basically means that somebody has tested that and made sure that what they're saying is in there is what's in there, and it doesn't have other stuff that might be harmful for you. So having the USP certification on the label is definitely a good idea. Would I say it's 100% necessary? Maybe not if you're getting it from a reputable manufacturer, but that's a decision that you need to make. Is there a best time of the day to take a multivitamin? I would say multivitamin is best taken with food, not on an empty stomach, because then it can work with other naturally present compounds that we haven't identified that are in food to better absorb the nutrients that are in there. Plus, then you're not going to have such issues with getting an upset stomach from iron or other things that might be in there. So taking it with food is the best time of the day to take a multivitamin. Good question. All right, caffeine for energy. Right? How many of you do caffeine to have energy, to wake up? So caffeine is a stimulant that exists naturally in some substances and can also be produced synthetically. Habituation is a factor, right? Do you know what habituation is? Like, you drink 2 cups of coffee every day and you need that to get going, but it doesn't really like give you any extra energy because your body just expects it and it's used to it. Generally, the equivalent of 1 to 2 cups, so a cup being 8 ounces, is considered safe and even healthy, depending on your source of the beans, of the coffee beans. There's some good phytochemicals in coffee beans that are concentrated in there that have been connected to some health benefits. So generally that's considered to be safe. Now there's some conditions or issues that people can have that make it so caffeine isn't a good idea. It's definitely not a required vitamin for your body to survive. You don't need caffeine. It can be helpful or beneficial in small amounts for those people that that is not an issue for. So here's a quick reference for how much caffeine is in things. What I'm going to tell you, long story short, is you got to watch out for any kind of energy drink or product or gum or chew or whatever that says energy on it, or this is for energy, or this is to get you going, because oftentimes there's so much caffeine in it, like way a lot more than you might need. So if you just look at the amounts that are on this, you can see you start getting those energy drinks, those energy gum, you know, it's a lot. The botanicals, the yerba mate, the green tea extract. I mean, green tea has caffeine in it. When you concentrate it into a green tea extract, it really can be a lot of caffeine. So make sure and look at the nutrition facts labels. Chocolate does have some caffeine in it. It's a relatively small amount, but chocolate does have caffeine. It's definitely less than a cup of coffee. Do you know if caffeine allergy is common? I would say caffeine allergy is probably not common. Some people definitely are very sensitive to it though. I'm one of those people. So I know what you're talking about, but I wouldn't call it an allergy in most cases. Now, if your doctor has told you otherwise, then that's another thing, but I wouldn't say it's common, no. Okay, so now we're kind of going to go into herbs, like more supplements, herbs, that sort of thing. And I've got some fairly common ones on the charts on the next two slides for you to look at. But what I really feel like is the best resource for you, if you look at the link that's right up there at the top of the page, I'm going to try and share that with you. If I can find it from all of these options that I have. Possibly. Here it is. So here, this, when you go to that link that I have on there, this is what it comes up with. So you can see all of these different really common things that you'll see. The one I'm going to focus on here is the turmeric. So turmeric is an anti-inflammatory. It's getting lots of attention lately. So you can look at the information that's on there. It has lots of good information that's on there. So I wanted you to see that and see what it looks like, common names, Latin names, background, what it's used for, how much research is out there, all of that, all of that. So I just wanted you to see what that looks like. So here I talked about cayenne, I talked about arnica. People take that for pain a lot. Echinacea, there's a lot of people sick these days. So echinacea, when you first start getting sick, there actually is some science that shows that that is helpful if you take it within the first few days. But do definitely look at the safety concerns for any of these, because where do you think medicine originally came from? It came from plants, if that's what you said, that it came from plants. So taking a plant source for energy, for supplements, for any of that kind of thing, it can have a big effect on your body. So know what you're taking. And usually there will be how much you should take on the back of the product, and that will help you. Because I see the question on there, how much turmeric would you have to eat to have an effect? And that's kind of, I mean, the same thing. So I could do a little more research if you wanted to know from food, but if it's supplement, then it's going to say on the back of it how much it recommends to take. Vitamin C and zinc, do those help when you start to get sick or prevent you from getting sick? Absolutely, vitamin C and zinc do. There's some studies that show that those can be very helpful, but like I'm about to say here coming up, you need everything to do everything, right? Vitamin C and zinc are good things to take, you know, as you're starting to feel sick, starting to feel sick, but again, having that built up in your body, having a good source of that in the first place, just as a level set, as a general way of being, is going to help you the most, as versus taking mega doses of them when you start to feel like you're going to get sick. I generally don't recommend taking like the oh, what's that stuff called? I have some in here. The Emergen-C, like this. I don't know if you've seen this before. This is a huge mega dose of vitamin C, and that's how they advertise it. It is, if you look at the back of the package, it's 1,667% of what you need in the day. And remember what we said earlier, there's a reason this is still in the package and I haven't used it yet. Because I know I don't need that vitamin C, and it's actually fairly easy to get vitamin C from your diet. It's one of those nutrients that's pretty easy to get. So taking a mega dose, if you have 10 pencils, can you do the test any faster? Does it help you do better on the test? No. What you need to have is the number of pencils that you need to have in order to take the test, right? So you want to have enough, you're not going to run out, you can do the test, but you don't need 1,667%. Yep, Zicam has had lawsuits against them. They killed my husband's ability to smell. So yeah, this again is why we're having this presentation, right? These are great questions. This is great information to think about when you're considering this. My personal thought on it is, if you're taking multivitamin each day when you start to get sick, generally speaking, maybe you could take a little bit more zinc, a little bit more vitamin C. Do you need 1,000% all in one dose? Probably not. That's probably too much. And talk to your doctor about it, because none of us is an average person. Each person is different. So think about that. When I talk about echinacea and helping with the colds, it's because typically I don't take echinacea. It's not an everyday thing for me. It's something that helps when you're first getting sick. So I'll drink like echinacea tea for like the first 3 days, and it can be beneficial in shortening the duration of the cold or the sickness. Okay, so here's risky dietary supplements. If you turn your label over and you see any of these things in there, don't take that product. Choose something different. These are risky. They've had negative health effects. And the thing right there at the top to remember, any supplement in greater than recommended amounts is risky. Unless your doctor tells you to take more than the recommended daily amount, don't do it via supplement, right? If you eat 100 carrots, you might turn orange, right? But that's the only thing that's going to happen to you, because you're getting it from food, right? Our body knows what to do with food. If you eat a mega dose of vitamin A from a retinol source as versus beta carotene, because beta carotene is what it is in carrots, right? That's the natural source of vitamin A. But if you take a supplement that has 1,000% of vitamin A from a retinol source, it's going to make you sick. So any supplement, pill that you take, powder that you take, right, greater than recommended amounts, not safe. Any of these listed on here, not safe to take, really at all. So considering supplements, ask yourself the questions. What is it? Why am I taking it? Who says I should take it? When should I take it? And how much should I take? Talk to your doctor about it. Don't even talk to me in most cases. Talk to your doctor about it. They know what your condition is. They should have a relationship with you. If there's something that you're thinking about, talk to your doctor about it. That's where I take the turmeric. That's where I take the echinacea, because I've talked to my doctor about it and they've said, yeah, I feel like it's safe for you to take it in the amounts that you're taking it. I feel like it can be helpful for you. So talk to your doctor. Really like kiwi, but if I eat more than one in a week, I get a terrible headache. So I can't buy a lot at a time. Interesting how that works, isn't it? I wonder what it is in kiwi that gives you a headache. Some of our bodies are sensitive to certain things in foods. Yeah, exactly, because food is medicine. So listen to your body with that too. And limit your kiwi, unfortunately. So here are some great links that you can go out and you find all kinds of good information. You notice where this is all coming from, right? These are reliable sources of information, because if you go out and Google energy supplements, herbal supplements, I'm going to tell you the amount of information that's out there is overwhelming. Supplements are a huge industry and people are trying to sell you stuff. So here are some reliable places to go. Mayo Clinic, Harvard, the NIH, WebMD, eatright.org is the National Association for Registered Nutritionists. So any of those places are reliable places for you to go and look for supplemental information. Energy really is a choice. When you think about it, there is a fabulous, I spent some time looking here for a great TED Talk, a great presentation that talks about the mental component of energy. Because I know at the very beginning of this presentation, where I talked about like mental energizers and mental vampires, right? Energy vampires, energy energizers, right? I know some of you are like, why'd we go away from that? That's so interesting. It's because it's huge. It's just huge. It's definitely something. And we've been working on kind of these mental techniques through this whole process, right? To improve the quality of your thinking so that you can improve the quality of your life. Energy is a choice. It's about the quality of your thinking when you boil it right down to it. How do you choose to spend your time? What do you choose to eat? How do you choose to move your body? All of these things can give you that sense of accomplishment, well-being, better health, energy to enjoy life, to get up and say, I'm excited about what I'm doing today. I'm living my best life. I can't complain about what's happening to me because, hey, this is awesome. So this is a YouTube video of a TED Talk that I have linked here where he talks about reasons why our mental processes are sucking our energy away. And at the end, he talks about how to start improving the quality of your thinking and how you deal with the stresses in your life and the environment that we live in to have more energy. So it's like 18 minutes long, I think. So I don't have time to show it to you today, but I really encourage you, if you have time after this, click on that link, go watch it, because it's encouraging, it's inspiring. So it really gives you some good tools for mental energy. So the challenge, if you choose to take it, right, it's like Mission Impossible. Should you choose to accept this assignment, think of a way that you can create energy in your life. And maybe that's just starting by watching that video and taking one of the techniques to create some mental energy. Maybe you're going to think about how do you adjust your supplementation based on what it is that you're trying to do with your weight loss journey, with your health goals. Maybe you're going to read some of those articles from Kathy Breeden. I have downloaded a ton of those from diabetes, folate, general nutrition advice, calcium, vitamin D, carnitine. So if any of that is something that you're interested in, then please send me an email. I will send that to you so that you can read it. Maybe it's reading one of those articles. Maybe it's incorporating some time in your day to do those things that energize you, walking the dog, being outside, all of those things, singing out loud, really loud, all those things that you brought up. So you contribute so much to these presentations. So that's your challenge. Think of a way that you can create energy. Do what you've decided to do to meet your goals. Hopefully you all have used this last month as a time to kind of adjust that, because I know I saw the comment on there. I missed you all too, and I missed having our weekly presentations. I felt like those of you who did submit the food logs to me, I had some extra touch with you, if you will, some extra dialogue to help keep you on track. So if you'd like for me to do that, that offer is open. Maybe that's something that you'd like to do. So do what you've decided that you will do to meet your goals. If you've gotten off track, or if you've, gotten lost and just come back, then set those goals again. Spend some time with that positive goal setting, like we talked about in the first week, and set those goals again, something that you can achieve, something that's not too hard, but that will get you moving, that will get you towards your goal. Print out your food and fitness log if you need it, record your food. Bring your resources and your log to our next webinar, which will be a month from now. And you should all have the Outlook appointment for that on your calendar to help you remember. If you don't have that, please let me know so that I can send that to you. And what has been missing from this presentation? What's been missing? I know you've been missing it. Calvin and Hobbes, right? And this is so appropriate for right now because we still have a little bit of summer left, and Hobbes says, you know what I like about summer days? They're just made for doing things, even if it's nothing. And Calvin says, especially if it's nothing. So they're building their mental energy, aren't they? By taking some time, just enjoying the outdoors, enjoying each other's company. So I really encourage you to do that in the next month. Reach out to me if you need anything, if you have discussion, if you have questions, want to go through your food log, want to talk about, supplementation or where to find resources. I'm here for you. So reach out. And any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for joining me today. Bye, everybody.